Hi.
Hey, we're back with more elections talk.
Yes.
But this is going to go more for local, right?
Yeah, see, I'm all about get the facts, folks.
Get the facts, folks.
How do you like that?
GFF
Yes.
or
Well,
GTFF.
going back a little bit. I would just want to tell you about Starlink and that laser.
Okay.
See, laser is an acronym for light emitting simulated emitting radiation. Laser. That's what it
Okay.
means. Okay. And that Starlink second lasers one. That was so fascinating. I sent you that link.
Mm-hmm.
How fast, and it bypasses everything.
And it's
Okay.
supposed to be helping our militaries and
Oh my
the
gosh.
SpaceX and everything,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to sort of laser in on the facts here. How do you like that? It's like,
Get the facts, folks.
but there's a big controversy. Did you know that the longest running sheriff, the longest sheriff ever in the United States?
With Matt Dillon.
No. And I can't remember, but he was from Lunenburg County.
Okay.
He served 59 years,
Okay.
starting in 1903, and I forgot what his name was, and somebody from the Historical Society said his name this morning, but he still holds the record. Now,
That's a long time.
Lunenburg County, when we moved down here and we told people where we were moving, they go, where? And you ask people in Virginia will go, where do you live? Lunenburg County. Where?
And it actually was one of the...
One of the
yes,
counties.
because most counties broke off of us. We
Yes.
were the largest one, and we're still a large county.
Oh, and this leads us to the controversy with the local sheriff department race, because our county is huge. If you travel from east to west, it might take you, it would take almost an hour.
Probably, yeah. I would
Because
say.
we're,
To the tip,
from
to the
tip to tip, from the bridge
Right at South Hill or
at
whatever.
South Hill all the way to Meharon. Now, from that bridge to our house is about 35 minutes, and we're another beyond that.
Yeah, we're a large county.
We're a large county.
Rural. Most of it's rural and a lot of back roads. And we still have a lot of dirt roads.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very rural.
Yeah.
But we are still large.
We're still large. And the big controversy, and this is the main topic that is riling up the sheriff's race.
Yes.
And it's just one topic that I can find, because that's what he said. And the topic is having a sheriff deputy available during the night shifts. Right? Okay. Now we have two little towns in the county. Both of them have their own little police forces. Neither one of them have anybody on duty during the nights.
Mhm.
And I don't know about weekends. They're on call. So let's put it like this.
But the sheriff's office is located at the other end of one of the towns in Lunenburg.
Yes, it's at the courthouse.
At the courthouse, yes,
Courthouse.
which is not Victoria, even though it's kind of like on the outskirts of Victoria.
Right,
It's
right.
called Lunenburg, and that's where the sheriff's office is.
And here's where the stipulation I see is, if you're going to run on that platform, gather all your facts. Find out how many crimes really occur during those times. Categorize them so you know what they are. Okay. And I know for a fact, because our daughter was a deputy, that if she had that night duty, and she did, they would be all geared up. The only thing she did not have on was her duty belt. So all night long, sitting in your uniform for a call to come through. Now,
So they can't like rest or anything until a call comes, or?
no, she's got to be ready to go out. I know, because sometimes you call me. It's like, I'm not on duty, thank you. And that happens. Okay, are they home? Yes, they could be at home. And it's almost a moot point because the county's so big, doesn't matter where you really are, depending on where the crime is. You could be close to the crime or far away from the crime. Mm-hmm. You know, even if you were at the courthouse, you could be far away from the crime. Mm-hmm. Because it's a big county. So that was a question that I asked. I said, how many crimes are we talking? How many offenses are we talking about? Because if that's your platform, you should have the facts. Okay? And if you want to do any rearranging with the same number of people, you've got to come up with a strategy that's not going to burn your officers out. Because that was the other thing, is putting them on a 12-hour day. Now, I understand the armed forces go on a 12-hour day, but their armed forces, they're not waiting for a 911 call coming in from your local police department. You know, you understand what I'm saying? It's their 12-hour day may just end at 12 hours. If you're in law enforcement, here's an example. They're currently on an 8-hour day. If they, almost at the end of their shift, they have to take someone for an evaluation to be placed in some psychiatric care, they have to take that to a professional, be evaluated, and they have to sit there with that person until a bed is found. Now, that could end up from an 8-hour day, could end up being a 10-hour day. Now, if you extend that to a 12-hour day and you have the same situation handled, that could be a 14-hour day. You see what I'm saying? So you're pushing them, not to mention that sometimes these officers have to appear in court. They have to go all over. They have to give out summons. And one incident that did well in my mind, and our daughter said that domestic violence, domestic situations are very dangerous, right? And they got a call about one that could be very dangerous. All the officers ended up on duty. And she felt very safe because the two people going to the door was the sheriff and the second in command. They put all their other officers in different positions, but they were the ones that went to the door. So she always felt safe. So, and he explained everything, and he explained all.
Who is he?
Who is he? Is our current
sheriff. Okay.
Yep. He went through everything and explaining how they don't get the best health. All of the finances and everything that they get has to be approved by the Board of Supervisors. Mm-hmm. Okay. He got a grant, and with that grant, they brought body cams. They have body cams now. They have upgraded their cars. They do have new vehicles. And I know that our daughter drove a car, and I'll forget how it was. She couldn't turn something couldn't be turned off unless she opened the trunk and pushed a switch. It was like, okay, or the siren, and one siren didn't work on one of the vehicles. And we used to laugh, said, what do you do? Open the window, go, wee, 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 wee. Flashing lights, and you're, wee,
welcome to Mayberry, folks. Welcome to Mayberry.
But now I've noticed they have new vehicles, and they've also upgraded their 911 call. They've come into the new age, so that's been upgraded. That was in the paper. That was written up in the paper. We noticed that in the paper. There was something else too. I think probably they have computers now in their vehicles. They're e-ready or whatever. That I don't understand that. So I understand where he's coming from. And
what do you say about solving the crimes?
Oh, that was so good. You ever watch any of these murder shows? Mm-hmm. Do you see where they go in with the lasers and do the whole screen? They call in the state, and the state police come in and do that. They will screen. There was Did you read the paper where they just captured one young murderer that had committed a murder? And Arthur Townsend was explaining, I soak this up because I watch these all the time. They knew where he was, but they didn't dare go in right away. So what they did, because they wanted to get everything set up, they had actually U.S. Marshals helping. And they would come in and they would keep track, says, yeah, he's still right there. He hasn't left. And they would come, they can go into a room or to any community where you're looking at a crime, and they will actually, pan the whole room and scan it and put it in your computer so that everything and all the evidence is right there. That we don't do that. But they call in the appropriate authorities that can. And we don't have to pay for any of that. But we do it. He uses it. And that's how they got this one guy. So that was kind of fascinating because that's a whole new area that they're using for investigation and all of that. So that was really good.
And this is good because she and I are divided.
Yeah.
We're divided on this issue.
That's right.
We are divided on this. I mean, I'm not so much to the point that we're like rubbing, but I mean, I'm not like totally on board like she is.
Well,
because you have a history.
Yeah, I have a history, but I also know from experience with our daughter being a deputy. And sometimes, and the other young man came in, and I have not found out what his credentials are. I think he's a college graduate, but I don't know anything much more than that. And the other thing that Sheriff Townsend said, that when you have sometimes a turnover suddenly, it almost can destroy your department if it's not done the right way. And there's so much. This is a big controversial.
It really is a big controversy. And I do see a lot of division in the county with this.
Yes.
When you talk to people, there are people that are for and against both.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the hot topic
and
for
I
hours
think,
because Arthur's been there forever.
And you need to know the facts about it, and you need to ask questions.
I'm jaded, though. That's where I'm jaded because I don't know that you get everything.
Well, see, I have some firsthand experience with that.
I do, but I have it on the side of them not doing things.
But you see, sometimes I think, and that was brought up by the other young man that came in, all right, running against him, Michael Folks, the second, is he just blew in for 5 minutes and then flew out. Before my husband John got up to pay and came back and he was gone. Because, here I am and I'll ask a couple.
And I was defending him because I know we have a national night out here in Cambridge, and he did have a booth there, and he was probably trying to say hello there, but then also get to this. So because it was probably a scheduling thing. But that's just me throwing my 2 cents.
Well, he's been there 2 or 3 times, so he got a chance. Anyway, but his one stance is that overnight coverage.
Apparently he has a reason, but he doesn't have enough evidence right now to back it up to you.
He's not providing, I could go and I could tell you where the sun is closer right now, but unless you say, well, can you show that? Can you prove it to me? And yes, you can have the facts to prove. Say, okay, let's measure. Tell me what time the sun rises and sets every day, and I can tell you that the amount of daylight stops. It gets shorter as we go towards December 21st. But if you're going to say that a lot of crimes are occurring during those time periods, then it would be nice for you to find what they are. And here's a yearly average of the crimes that have been committed in this locality, in this county for 1 year, and they're broken up into categories during this time period. So if that is that high, then it justifies his reasoning for that. See, I can't see where he's justifying his stance. his platform.
But I would think that the majority of the stuff is gonna be done at night and in the dark. I
Well,
don't think people are gonna be like cutting people up during the day and taking them and.
Some of, and
I've
they
seen drug
go,
deals.
they,
Drug deals could go day and night.
yeah, and they can be any place. But, and they're in, it's funny because some crimes will occur in clusters.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has something to do with the moon. Because
No, it really does.
if you think, well, I could go into a whole animal study that I did with a small animal population. And the ironic thing is the amount of moonlight affects the way foraging animals come out.
Mm-hmm. It does.
They will tend to forage before a full moon because they're not, I'm being followed by a moon shadow. When you have a full moon, you have shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a predator looking for prey, and that prey comes out during a full moon, you're probably going to catch them. So when I did my small mammal study, we would capture more small mammals like mice and chipmunks and squirrels and shrews just before a full moon. And not as many. So if crime, what deters crime? Bright lights and noise. If you're going to be discovered because there's a full moon, you may not be committing that crime during a full complete darkness, you are hidden. So that's kind of we could do a whole fun thing on that, but so that's where I would like to see, some statistics. And I don't get satisfied with I don't have that number with me. I don't have that. Because if that's your platform, you could say, ma'am, this is how many are committed during this time. This is what's committed here. This, you know what I'm saying? And that would take like 30 seconds to tell me and satisfy my curiosity. Do drug deals occur? They occur all over, and I'm sure anytime. And this is very rural. I mean, look where they could be hiding any place.
But people do know when the cops are off duty here. So,
well,
especially if you know when they're off duty, that'd be the time I'd be like, okay, let's go do it during this time.
And well, if he wants to take it beyond that, which I did some research, the state police do the same thing. They cut back during the nighttime hours too. So it's not just local, it's statewide. Maybe we should look at it going the other way. Maybe we should have fewer during the day. There's got to be an answer.
There has to be an answer.
There has to be an answer. It was good. I enjoyed all the speakers.
I wish they would have done a debate with these two. I really do.
Yes.
And I think somebody should have organized that. And I feel like somebody should have organized that just to give both of them a chance to say, hey.
Well, as I said, you needed facts. And the other thing somebody did answer, and I spoke up because I know from our daughter's perspective, she said she always felt safe with the sheriff and the second Chief Pentland, and he's the second in command. And the other thing is, when I do have a personal relationship with him through Turning Point, and I'm going to back off from saying anything about the election, but one woman asked him, well, what have you done? And he just sort of I said, well, I can tell you what he's done. Because when we did our observe, assess, and react, ORS, which is what we are doing, observing, assessing, and reacting here. And we're doing that on the sheriff's debate. And as long as we are safe as people, it probably doesn't matter who takes that top spot, as long as the whole system doesn't break down and you don't have a bunch of losing officers that are really experienced. But we did observe, assess, and react to scams. And I called him because I was wondering if he'd be interested. Not that he had to do much, but would you be, and I left a message to his secretary. 40 minutes later, he was at our door, and we sat and we talked and set up that scam program. And I think he wants to redo it again because scams have
They're
morphed.
blown up. Oh,
They have morphed.
There's so many other ones
There's
now.
just so many. So that impressed me. And then not only did we do one for scams, and I mentioned it, I said we did one for scams, we did one for safe surroundings, and we did one for a safe house, safe home. And both Arthur and DJ, and we involved the bank, we involved Dr. Teresa Moore, who's the president of our association here. They were all involved. And I'll tell you, the scam one was 2 hours long.
Mm.
And then we took it to the senior citizens in Victoria, their meal time. We had to pare it down a bit, but we did do it with them too. And they enjoyed it during their meal. So yes, he's done that. And I think that triggered in his mind that I didn't realize they have a program for people who are more like shut-ins. They don't want to go out. So what he does is they are set to call in to his department, just call, just to let somebody know that, yeah, we're okay, we're fine. And if they don't get a call back, if they don't get a call, he'll send somebody out to just do a wellness check on that person. You don't know, I didn't know these things, that they did that. That's kind of cool. That's looking after these people who are out there alone, you know? And one woman said, well, my husband may be home, but suppose in the middle of the night we have some, well, you call the 911 and they will call the cop, they will call the deputy who's ready to go out. I mean, we should all, though, I think we need our own little group of people to take care of the druggies.
Well, I want to,
vigilante.
it's almost time for this session.
Really?
So next week, we're going to have to look at this again, but because we're getting closer to elections.
I'm going to go vote today.
I'm still not voting yet because I want to make sure who all is on the ballot. Oh, that'd be good. Bring us a ballot or write down who all's on it.
Yeah, okay.
That way we can.
Can I take a
That
picture?
way we can. Well, and then that way we can go over, and that way all you can be informed what's going to be in Lunenburg.
Mhm.
And so you will know who's going to be on the ballot. I know Tommy Wright and some of our local stuff
Right,
and our
right.
state stuff is going to be on there. But if there's anything else we need to know, and we'll go over it a little bit more because the election time is coming, people. And I know a lot of people don't like to vote and stuff, but you really need to be involved.
You have to
It's
vote.
your right. It's your right, and I feel like it's a duty
Well,
as a citizen.
I'll tell you, I'm a first generation here, and my family always voted when they had the right to vote, and they became
Because there's
they
so
voted.
many countries do
That
not
you
allow
do
it.
not. Yes,
Mhm.
and yes, and we love each other.
Yes. And you can agree to disagree.
I know, that's right.
But you know,
and who knows? He may be super great. We don't know that. Got to provide that info,
and a lot of things are perspective.
Frame of reference.
All right, guys, y'all have a great one.
Cool.